Hello and welcome to Walker's World, where reality's curled. I'm your host, The Combo, and we're here to talk about zombies. In this week's episode, we will address how to determine a plan of action. The first step is a judgment call, whether to stay in your home and fortify or leave and scavenge. This decision is not an easy one, and many factors will determine the best course of action. In the Walker's World, indecision is a killer, and only the smart and well-informed will survive. So how does one go about gathering the information? And what information does one need? Well, that is what this week's episode is all about. Recon usually refers to the process of obtaining information about the position, activities, resources, etc. of an enemy or potential enemy. When applied to the zombie apocalypse, that definition is rather open. So first we will address the most immediate concern. After you are informed of the infection, you must address the validity of the claims. Just like deciding on anything, proof is essential to an informed decision. So sources should be verified. Remember, every person who has ever said the end is nigh, everyone has been wrong. Someone who says that zombies are coming without a scratch of proof has the same mindset of those soothsayers. Except for me, of course. I'm doing this for fun. So if you want real information, you need multiple sources for verification, and some sources may be better than others. For example, if you hear of a cannibalistic story on the news dismissed as an isolated satanic ritual, it might be well advised to check the news regularly for similar stories. I'm not saying thoroughly investigate any claims of bizarre satanic rituals, I wouldn't want to, but keep in mind, mass media has a tendency to play down major massacres if they have some significant link to a stockholder of a network, at least in the movies. But this is not to say that mass media is an unreliable source. Mass media sources, depending on the severity of infection, will inform many people of proper procedure for self-preservation, although infection rates would have to be very high for a news station to switch to strictly emergency broadcast information, in which case you probably already know about it. This makes mass media as an immediate and informative reconnaissance mechanism essentially worthless. But don't fret, because we live in the world of the internet and camera phones, so information gathering should come as a snap for a savvy internet user as yourself. What information should I gather first, I hear you asking, and the first piece of info is identification of ground zero, or the point of origin. Where is it? Is it on your continent? These are the two most immediate concerns, and establish a very rough timescale for establishing immediate action. Whether to leave immediately and gather information on the way, or to stay and gather the required reconnaissance. A good timescale needs some other preliminary information on the zombies. 1. How fast is it from infection to reanimation? 2. How fast can the reanimated move? 3. How fast is the infection spreading geographically? The easiest way to determine a timeline would be to investigate reports and pay attention to geographical significance of the infection, but sometimes this is not available. So having the previous info is needed for the following. A. The infection to reanimation rate will help you determine how far an infected person can travel before the infection kills them. For example, if someone is infected, is it feasible to assume that that person can get on a plane or boat and spread the infection further? B. Determining how fast the infected move will tell you how fast the infected will move from town to town. If the infected run and have a reason to follow a certain route, i.e., evacuees blocking a road, they will spread very fast, but if they shamble, then you may have more time. Geographically speaking, if the infection starts on your continent, be prepared for it and get the info you need before full contamination. This is a rough estimate, of course, but this information should be able to be gathered relatively easily as the news of infection spreads and people post information online. This information gathering process should last A, until a rough timeline is established, or B, about 4 days. I say 4 days because I'm assuming this is a zombie apocalypse, and you don't want to be in the third wave of evacuees. After the timeline is established, you can make the decision to leave or stay for further information gathering. Right now I will focus on the decision to stay and gather information. When I say stay and gather info, I don't mean set up a base of operations. I mean stay for as long as you need to make an informed decision as to set up base or leave to find a new one. For example, if you plan on leaving, finding the best route by staying and studying the existing ones may be advised, or if you plan on staying, gathering information on escape routes or sources of food and water would be a good decision. But that aside, other information about the walkers is just as important. The following is lists of qualities which need to be ascertained about the walkers. 1. Are they dead? 2. How do they infect? 3. What organs are used for sensing? 4. If dead, how fast is decomposition? If alive, how fast until starvation? 6. Do predators prey on them? 7. Do they prey on other animals? And 8. How can one be disabled? I put the disabling one at the end, because presumably one would be studying a walker to determine these answers, and termination of the subject typically comes last. Now I know this will seem like a test, and I'm not saying hit the books, but try to learn as much as you can, because any piece of information you learn in the walker's world could save your life. In the walker's world, you want to be on the ball, miles ahead of your peers, making every move strategically like a game of chess. So having this information initially will give you an edge over the competitor, and in a world as dangerous as the walker's world, the competitors include every human being you come into contact with. The interactions with other people in the walker's world can be dangerous, and knowing how to avoid a situation in which you get robbed or worse could benefit you. But we will leave that subject until next time. This has been the combo for the walker's world, where reality's curled.